Hi, everybody. My name's Lydia. I work in the Leeds office doing academic enrichment programming. And today I'm going to be showing you a couple of different things that I find personally useful for staying organized, especially when I'm doing work at home. But these also will apply when you get back to campus too. They're just useful tips that allow you to stay a little bit more on top of your work and maybe stress a little bit less about everything you have to do. So, the first thing that I personally really like is labels. So, you can see I'm in my Beloit email here, and a lot of people don't know that you can actually create folders within your email. So, that is what labels are. They're basically just folders, and you can see all of mine on the side here. So, normally you would have your start, your sent, your inbox, la di da. But then once you get here, bug and below, all of these are labels. So labels are just folders. I can click on this label and I can see all of the emails that I'm taking, for example, for my environmental issues class, which is this one right here. So the way to, first of all, create labels is to check mark an email. You can do multiple emails too if you want to put them all in the same folder, but we're starting with just one for simplicity. And then you go up to this tab here that says labels, you click on it, and then you go down to create new label. So I'm going to just label this example 1. And you can see that this also says nest under. This is completely optional, but if, say, you have a label that's just all of your school emails, and the email that you're trying to label is for a specific class, you can nest it under certain things. So LDM, I was studying abroad this semester. LDM was my school, and you can see it's a little to the left of the labels that are below it here. These are all of the classes that I took when I was at LDM. So they're slightly indented, showing that they are nested within this LDM folder. So that's completely optional. If you find that that helps you in terms of breaking organization down even further than labels themselves, you can totally do that, but it's optional because you don't need to have things nested in order to actually have a label. So, like I said, I have my label here just as example 1 for you guys, and then I'm going to create it, and then you can see I have this tab that says example 1. I also have example from my own test earlier, but I have example 1 here, which is the label that I just created. Now, you can see that it is still in my inbox, which is nice because it means that the email is now stored in 2 different locations. The first location is your inbox. If you want to keep it there, that's up to you. The other is right over here, and you can see that it says example 1. So this is your actual label that you just created, and you can see that that email is now in this folder. And it still says inbox, which shows again that the email is still in your inbox. If you remove it from your inbox, then it won't be there anymore, and it'll just say example. The other thing you can do is put an email, let's try this Stewboard email, in a folder that already exists. So you can see this, if you go back to labels here, check mark the email, go to labels. This menu right here is all of your labels. So if we go through them, 4D foundations and biometrics are classes. Bug is a club, so that's all of my club emails go in this folder. Like I said, LDM, these are all the classes I'm currently in. I would really recommend having a folder or a label for each of your classes that you're taking, because especially when you're working at home, the last thing you want is for your emails to start getting lost in your inbox. So whenever you get an email for a class, put it in the label associated with that class immediately as soon as you get it. Oops, I just labeled that biometrics, but we can leave it like that. So you can see that I just clicked like this, and you can unclick like I just did, but you can go through and find whatever label you want to associate your email with from your pre-existing labels. You can check mark it and then hit apply. So now you can see it is also in that example one folder that I just made. So the other thing you can do, which again is also totally optional, but I know sometimes if people are a little more visual, this can be useful, is to color your labels. And you can see here, you have all of these options, and you can also do a custom color if you prefer to do that. I know some people that will have a big label for each term, and then they will nest all of their classes within that term, like I'm doing here. So LDM isn't the name of my term, but it's the name of the school I was at. And then I have all of these nested within the LDM folder. And with that, then I can collapse it and bring it out again. But if you wanted to, you could also color code within that nested group of labels. So if you wanted to have them all a certain hue or have them all very, very different colors, it can just help you keep track of your classes a little bit more. And so you can see here, this is my environmental issues class that I'm in right now. And this is an orange label, which is nice because if I'm just scrolling through, it's easy to find in my inbox. But I can also look at this orange color, go over to my labels and see, oh yeah, here's my orange environmental issues class. So it makes a very nice visual difference for me because I'm able to track where all of my all of my different labels are, because sometimes you start to add up all of the labels that you have and can get a lot. You can definitely nest. That's a nice way to keep this bar organized. But I would definitely recommend labeling all of your emails if you can. I haven't quite gotten there yet, but I'm working on it. The other thing you can do, like you can see, I just clicked into a random email. So let's say the Stu Board email, and say this was something important, but you can't respond to it right now. So say it's an email from a professor and you want to email them back, but you don't have time to do that right now, or you don't have the answer to their question, but you want to remember to email them back. All you need to do is click into the email like this, and then you go to more, and then this big menu opens up. But what you want to do is go all the way to the bottom and click mark unread from here. And then it does just that. It marks it as unread. So when you go back into your email, you can see that you still need to address that email. So like I said, you can click into it, go down to more, mark unread from here. And when you're done, you can just click in and out of it, and then boom. It's just a nice little reminder tool that I personally use a lot and I find really useful. And it also allows you to start removing things from your inbox as soon as you read them. If you start getting into that habit, that's really good. The next thing that I want to show you is not really associated with email, but it's more associated with scheduling and using a planner in a format that maybe you aren't used to. So this is a website. It's also an app called My Study Life, and it's completely free. You can see that you can have a desktop version here. There is also an app that's very, very comprehensive and easy to use too. You can see down here, I've just signed in with my Beloit email. So my school email, you can sign in with Gmail. But what this website / app is just a really useful tool that takes the advantages of an original normal style planner, like a physical book planner, and makes it into a comprehensive digital format. And I know sometimes when we're working from home, doing school from home, or even just trying to stay on top of things at school, sometimes physical planners don't work for us. And that's totally fine because everyone has their own way of learning things. But this is a nice alternative to try. I would really recommend it, especially if you have issues prioritizing different tasks. This is really nice at breaking down tasks for you. So you can see this is my sort of home page for the website. The app is very, very similar. If you can navigate the desktop, then you can navigate the app. And like I said, it's all completely free. So you can see I'm here on this tab right here, and this is just sort of your home base. So I have filled in my personal information, all of my work that I need to get done for myself, and I'm going to use it to show you guys. So this says Monday, April 13th, which is this upcoming Monday. It's Saturday right now when I am recording this, but the next day of class, the next weekday, will be Monday, April 13th. You can see next to that, it says one class. What that means is that I have one class on Monday, April 13th. And I'll tell you how to enter all of that information in a minute. And then it also says next to that, tasks due, or task due, because there's only one. This is the homework or activities or anything I need to get done, again, for Monday, April 13th. And then it also has the same thing for exams. So that's kind of your first area here. It's really straightforward, tells you exactly what you need to do on the next weekday. And then in this tasks column, you can see I have 2 tasks to do next week. So it tells you the time period. And these are the tasks that I need to get done. And so both of these are reading tasks. I just know that because they're my homework. And then you can click into your tasks and say what percentage complete they are. So this can be really useful for things like papers and big projects, things that you start working on earlier, because you can remind yourself, oh, I'm only 10% done on this, and it's only due 2 days after this, but I have, so much more to do on it. So this helps you say what percentage done it is. The other really nice thing about this is that it's color coded. So you can see under here, the smaller text here is actually 2 different classes that I've put into the program. So food and culture is one class, family and society is another class. Food and culture is this pinky color in the entire website, and this bluish color is family and society on the entire website. And then you just have a column for exams. Again, I don't have any coming up, but that's where they would be. Then the next tab down, you can see I went down this tab here. This is just a completely normal calendar. You can input any information that you want. It's super easy. You just really just have to put it in. You can also, if you have classes that are at a scheduled time, they will all show up here. I don't, because I don't currently have any live classes. They're all pre-recorded, but if you're in live classes, you can put them all in here. The next tab down is going to be all of your tasks, okay? So I've put in all of my tasks for the rest of the semester. You can see, like I said, they're still all color-coded by class. So the class is under here, the assignment is here, and then you have this easy color code. So it's also divided by when the tasks are due, so due next week, due later this month. So it breaks tasks down and automatically sets them in this chronological order, starting from things that are due very soon to things that are due further away. And like I said before, you can click on these tasks, do the percentage complete. It'll say when it's due. If you have any notes about tasks, you can write in some notes. Like, for example, let's see. I have a note here that this has to be 3,000 words, 8 primary sources, and 1.5 spacing. So these are just notes I put in for myself, but that's where you'll find them. And you can also add new tasks. You can go up here, drop down menu, pick your classes, is it an assignment, a reminder, whatever, the title of the thing, the details of the thing, you can do all of that. And you can see, just for an example, if I change the class, it'll change the color associated. So the next thing is your exams, and I don't have any exams coming up, like I said, but this will look exactly the same as your tasks, just for exams. So it helps you differentiate a little bit, and it helps you keep track of the exams that you need to be doing and not associate them with tasks because they're a little bit of a different thing. The next thing is your schedule. And your schedule here is sometimes a little bit complicated, but you can see that I have this big tab here that says 2020. And then in it, you can see that I have spring home 2020. So this is me studying from home. And this can be your individual term. So I'm just going to, for example, like try making a new class. And you can see I did that a little bit fast, but I clicked on new class. So that's just for this term. I click this plus. You can enter the name of whatever it might be, whatever your class is. I'm going to cancel here, but you click save. And then you can enter the teacher, the start and end date, the module, the building, any information that you need. And you would again click save. And then it would appear right here. Next to all your other classes, you can see I have the time that all of my classes are at. These are sort of arbitrary classes because, like I said, I don't have live classes, but this is when I do them during my day. So you also have the option to do that if you're not in live classes. And like I said, your classes will appear here, but they'll also be associated with all of the other classes you have here. So you can also add holidays, which would be, either if you have a religious holiday you want to follow or a day that you don't have school, you can put those in here. And that will appear on your calendar as well. And then this is just an easy way to search for information. If you start adding a lot of different material into this, it's an easy way to find things. So like I said, this is called My Study Life. It's really, really useful. It's especially useful for people who have some trouble with staying motivated in terms of planning because it really tracks everything out for you. You don't have to do any of the mental work to actually seek information out. It will provide it to you, which sometimes can be a really good motivator because for some, actually just opening up a planner can induce a lot of stress and anxiety. This negates that. It makes it a lot easier. It doesn't make it stressful to look at your planner. And I find that for myself, looking at the actual planner itself is normally all I need to actually get the motivation to do the activity, whatever it might be, whether it's a reading or a paper or whatever. So yeah, My Study Life, very, very useful, especially if a traditional planner doesn't work for you. So the next and final thing is going to be pretty brief, but this is on Portal, and this is how to request a tutor. So I have signed in to my portal here, and this is just the portal homepage. I'm just going to go up to Student Life, and it might kick me out because it's Portal, but we'll just log back in again if it does. Nope. Okay. So Student Life, I'm on the Student Life tab, and the way to request a tutor, the way to find the form is really easy. So on the left, there's this bar here. You go to Tutoring Forms, and then you click it. And then you have a couple options, which I know confuses some people, but you're going to go not to Tutor Application Form, go to the one below it, Tutoring Request Form. And then this, I'm going to walk you through it. So this is your basic information. I just put the number sign here because I'm not going to write my actual number, but this is where you would write your phone number. This is just so the office can contact you if need be. And then it has your information here. And then you go to the next page, and then it'll say year. So you pick the academic year, term, you pick the term that you're in. Normally it will only have the option for the term you're actually in. Select a course. Normally you would have more courses. Like I said, I wasn't on campus, so I'm SAB, which is just study abroad, but I'll click that as an example. Number of tutoring hours requested per week, maximum of 2. So this does not necessarily mean that you will have 2 hours of tutoring, like if you click 2, it doesn't necessarily mean you will get tutored for 2 hours a week. It's just what you are requesting. And you also don't always need to do 2 hours. It's not a requirement. It's more just so we get a gauge on how much help you think you need or how much guidance you want. Specific areas of assistance desired. This is totally up to you. You don't need to fill it out. But if you have specific things you want to talk about, if you have an organizational tutor you're requesting, like, oh, I really need help with calendaring, or I need help with managing my email or managing my personal life with my school life, you can write any of that here. It just helps us sort of prep the tutor a little bit so that they know what they should be focusing on with you. Have you discussed your difficulties with your professor, or do you have a TA? Both of these, I think, confuse people a little bit sometimes. So this does not mean if you have not discussed things with your professor, and if there is a TA, that does not mean you can't get a tutor. It's just purely a question to prompt you to think, oh, I haven't used this resource, maybe I should. But if you don't want to talk to your professor, or you don't work well with your TA, their teaching style doesn't work for you, that's okay. You can always still request a tutor, even if you haven't done these things, even though it is a required question. Group tutoring. This is kind of a personal choice. If you work well working with other people, great. If you don't, that is also totally fine. This question is not meant to make you feel bad for wanting an individual tutor. It's just purely so you can think about what would work best for you. And then if you need an individual tutor, please explain here. This is just because we have a limited number of tutors, so we want to make sure that for everybody that can get group tutoring, they can, so that we save some tutors for people who really do need individual tutoring. But like I said, you can still get an individual tutor, and that is totally fine. The next part is a consent form, basically just to give permission to your professor to obtain information about your tutoring sessions, or to not obtain information. This is totally up to you. It's completely your choice, and you can do with it whatever you want. I'm just going to quickly fill these out so that I can get to the next page, because we have some required fields here. All right, looks like they're all filled out. Like I said, this is completely up to you and your comfort zone. So I'm going to the next page. How are you referred to learning enrichment and disability services? So the LEADS office. This is more for our own knowledge on who's communicating about the tutoring services that we have. And then this is just your basic information. And then you just click next. And it didn't like me because I didn't put in a valid phone number, but that's okay. That's basically, this is how you would fill it in. And like I said, I can't submit this form because it's just an example. But normally you go down to the bottom here and click submit form, and we would get back to you as soon as we have a tutor that you are matched up with. We will email you directly and try to get you in contact with your tutor. Tutoring is still available, even though we are currently online and doing distance learning. You can still request a tutor. You can still get an organizational tutor or a course-specific tutor, which we both run through our office. And they're still available. They can do video sessions, video calls, Zoom calls, whatever works for you. The main thing to remember is just that this is still an option, and it will be both this semester, next semester when modules are running. So it's a really great resource for you, and it will continue to be around. So like I said, you can go to Student Life, tutoring forms, and then fill out this form, submit it, and we'll get back to you. So that is everything that I had for this little info session. I hope it helped you. If you have any questions, you can find all of LEADS' information on the Bullet website, LEADS, LEADS, and you can find all our contacts, everything And we would be happy to help you if you do have any questions. So thanks for tuning in and have a great day.